We are back, folks, for the NFC North West Coast edition. It's been a little bit.
It's been a minute. We had some good contingency episodes over there.
Yep. We're working on some production things, okay,
Yeah.
everybody. But there'll be some good stuff in the works here. We have a fun one today, though, because football related, but not so football related. But today we're going to be talking about Caleb Williams, revealed as the Madden NFL cover athlete. There's been a lot of talk about this one. First off, I will say, well, let's talk about like the initial thoughts, right? Because it's been out for a little bit now, and we've had an opportunity to see not only the people's reactions but also players' reactions as well. My initial thoughts, I was actually very shocked, to be honest.
He was probably really shocked too.
I mean, very exciting.
Of course.
But yeah, I was definitely shocked. And I mean, we're just gonna start it. The fun fact of the day today.
Oh,
cue me up. So today's fun fact is that Caleb Williams is the first player in Chicago Bears franchise history to grace the cover of Madden, which is absolutely crazy when you think about this franchise being around for 100 plus years. But I mean, Madden was not around.
I know. So 2000 or 90s when Madden, the video game, came out. So it would have been.
I mean, it makes sense.
It would have been past like most of your legends from the 80s. It would have been past most of your running. No one that's. I mean, but Matt Forte should have made it or stuff like that.
That would have been a good choice, I think.
And they don't really choose defensive players.
Yeah, I was gonna say historically they're typically offensive players, and I mean, quite frankly, since the '80s, the Bears haven't had a lot of offensive Hall of Famers.
And Walter Payton was so before that they weren't gonna grace.
They should do like a retro.
That would be great, right?
Dude, that'd be kind of fun.
That like when they did the Madden 25, not the 25 the year, but the anniversary of the 25th anniversary. I thought they were like. Maybe have different posters or different like athletes. Like you could have had Barry Sanders, you could have had Walter Payton, you could have had some of the legends out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I get it. You were trying to honor Madden, but
yeah,
I don't know. It just felt like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and I mean, I honestly haven't played Madden since I was a kid, so I haven't really I haven't stayed up to date with like the latest features in Madden. I'm sure it's come a long way.
As someone who does play Madden, it pisses me off every year. To be fair, though, I never buy the game. I always wait for her, like when like PlayStation Plus or Xbox something like that has like the free trial or if you have the subscription, you get to play it for free while you have the subscription.
Mm.
That's what I wait for. Mm-hmm. Or I'll wait for it to be $10 and then I'll buy it then because I'm not paying $70 for a broken game. But I've heard that this one might actually be good. But that's also been the fake or false promise that Madden has given all of their fans for the last 20 years.
Yeah. So let's talk about the covers because, I mean, you have two, right? And from my understanding, this is what typically happens. So you have the regular edition and then you have the special edition.
Yeah.
So I personally like both of them. I think that they could have been swapped though, just because. So on the regular edition, it's Caleb Williams like Jordan reenactment logo, right? And that was just such like an iconic, moment to just like replicate Jordan in real time. And then the special edition, which is also, I get it, is the whole, icy, embracing the Iceman nickname and signaling or doing the bear in sign language, which I also think about, like, I wonder if Caleb knew when he first did that, if that was like.
I feel like it's probably something he looked up.
Maybe.
I mean, that would be such a coincidence.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's ever asked him that question.
They should. But yeah, I mean.
Cool.
I did see both, and I did like them. Here's the thing: it's never been something like the cover itself has never been really, I guess, analyzed, if you will,
Mhm,
because it's
mhm.
always been an athlete, and you're like, cool, it's
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Cool, it's Patrick Mahomes.
Mhm.
I think this is the first year that people are actually trying to break down everything, and that seems a little weird.
Yeah, and we'll get into it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because there's definitely been some backlash, a lot of backlash actually,
yeah.
and we'll, a little foreshadowing for a later segment. But I mean, I thought that it was cute. It was really cool. I liked both of them.
Oh, yeah.
And I really think it captures Caleb's like abilities and personality at the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time. So really really exciting. One thing that's, been in the discussion is, was Caleb the obvious choice, or did other players deserve consideration? And I mean, like, if you're a football fan, the only right answer is the latter. Like, of course, there were other athletes in
Of course.
consideration. Like, Caleb was, I mean, in my opinion, Caleb was not the obvious choice.
It's something that no one is talking about, though, is did other athletes want to be
Mhm.
the poster child of Madden? Because of course, the obvious answer is Matthew Stafford.
Mhm.
The obvious answer is Myles Garrett. Those are
Mhm.
the two big ones right now. If either one of those would have been the cover, no one would be talking about this. You'd be like, yeah, well deserved. But we also have to take into consideration maybe they didn't want to be a part of this right now. They are at a stage in their lives that they don't need a cover of something because they've done so much already.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And I mean, of course, and we'll also talk about this later, but the whole Madden curse,
oh
right?
yeah, I mean,
But
can I say I would rather be on the cover of Madden than whatever the it says?
nice, nice, Justin Jefferson.
Don't get me wrong. It's cool that he's on Cinnamon Toast Crunch. These are the worst Cinnamon Toast Crunch I've ever had in my life.
Is strawberry?
Lemon
It's
or
like a
lime.
mashup. It's
Yep.
it's cinnamon toast crunch and Cheerios strawberry lemon. Interesting.
Yeah, I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. These are the absolute worst. They taste like you took Cinnamon Toast Crunch, sprinkled it with a bunch of shit, and then just sprayed a bunch of lime on it or lemon, whatever. It's terrible.
I don't know if like lemon is the first thing I think of when I think of a cereal.
I don't know if lemon's the first thing I think about when I think of Justin Jefferson. So maybe there's something, an inside joke that I don't know about. Vikings fans, please tell me. But I saw these. I had to pick it up.
He's clearly sour about being on the Vikings.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that right away.
Yes. Anyways, we digress. We just needed a little side segment on that.
But I mean, let's talk about why Caleb Williams for a couple minutes here, because I think that was what was confusing for everybody. Because without a doubt, the kid is talented. Without a doubt, he was one of the most exciting players to watch this year in football, which I could see. I mean, as a kid or anybody who plays Madden, who wouldn't want to do the things that Caleb Williams was doing? Because it was very Madden-esque.
Yes, I was going to say, in Madden, the things he does, you only see in Madden. You don't see players going on 4th down and 20 and it's just duking that shit in real life.
Yep.
In Madden, you do it every damn time.
Yeah. So, I mean, Caleb Williams was a obviously very well-known athlete dating back to
SC.
And
a little bit before, but mostly SC.
Yeah. But, I mean, talk about a little bit, because that's more your area, about how he gained more recognition, I should say, at USC, and really put himself on the map.
He followed Lincoln Riley, so he was already I guess he was already going to be the next chosen one to be chosen for the new program, because USC was a disgrace for some time. Our coach at that time was an alcoholic, and granted, nothing against that. You deal with your own demons, but he was drunk on the field. So when we brought in a new coach, we wanted new structure. We wanted someone to bring USC back into the front of all of college, and we're also changing packs. So it was big to bring someone like Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And man, when he got there, everything started changing day one. The excitement. Like I went to these games. I went to the tailgates, and we hadn't been this excited. And I get it. This is gonna be weird to say, since Sam Darnold. So it was some time, and even before that, we weren't this excited since like Pete Carroll days.
Yeah.
So he did kind of change the atmosphere there, and seeing the kid there, it was electrifying. So when I see that he got chosen to be in Madden, like the poster of Madden, I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
He was exciting to watch. He's exciting to watch in the NFL. And if this means that Madden might be changing their because they haven't been exciting in a long time, and I've heard that this year they're changing a lot, maybe that's why they went this direction. They want a new image.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, and I mean, again, not a big Madden player, but from the perspective of trying to draw new attention, perhaps, or
Yeah.
even, I mean, it's like a win-win in my opinion for both the NFL and Madden because he's a young rising star.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, there are other players that, from a merit perspective, yes, like he doesn't have the resume yet to be considered like, and we'll talk about it also, but I'm pretty sure he's one of the lowest rated Madden cover athletes in a very, very long
That's
time.
fair.
Because most of the players that are selected are already proven within
Oh, yeah.
the NFL. But I think, what Madden was trying to do here is like regain the excitement pretty
Oh, yeah.
much,
Get the conversation started as well.
Yeah.
And it's working. Let's be honest about it.
I mean, it is working. So, I mean, and this is one of the questions I have here for us is like, do you consider Caleb already one of the league's biggest stars despite,
Stars?
this? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the best, not yet.
Correct.
But stars, yes.
Yeah.
I do. You know who he reminds me of right now? Kind of, what's the best way to put it? There's players in the NBA where they hadn't proven themselves, but you could tell there's a lot of potential there. And I don't want to bring Wemby because Wemby's just a freaking like a crazy monster.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations, New York.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to get at is we knew there was something special there. And even though last year, before he got to this, we knew, okay, it wasn't the best. They didn't do the best. He's going to develop more. I think Caleb is the same way. There's something special there, and he's going to develop more.
Yeah, I think I was like torn on this because I mean, obviously I'm biased and I do think he's a star. I could see why people wouldn't consider him a quote unquote big star in the NFL right now. And mainly because if you didn't watch Bears games and you just merely went off of like his stats and you're looking at things, you're just like, what's so impressive about that? Like you actually had to watch Chicago Bears play. And if you didn't, I could see where that gets lost. But I mean, when you watch him,
yeah, he's electrifying.
You just don't know what's going to happen. And that's like, throughout, not only just in the playoffs, but throughout the entire regular season, the Chicago Bears were one of the most fun teams to watch. And,
I mean, except for 2 games.
And when you associate, video games, you associate that with fun. So why wouldn't you want that to,
That's a good point. I mean, that's a good point. The way you brought it, though, the way he plays is very Madden-esque. I hadn't realized that until you said that right now, but it is.
Yeah.
And the reason we always have that distinction between video games and real life is that most players can't do the things you do in video games in real life.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's one player that could do this.
Yeah. It's... Yeah, it definitely, it almost brings the video game back to reality.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so it like, I feel like that's another, I mean, I know from when I used to play Madden, it felt real to me. I don't know, again, I don't know about today, but you see like these clips and people are just doing the most out of pocket things on Madden, which I'm sure you could have done like back in the day as well.
You have to get really good for it, but yeah. Or put it in arcade mode.
Yeah.
But it seems like Caleb is playing in arcade mode sometimes.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's talk about the backlash.
Okay, yeah.
There was
a lot.
There was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of
You're telling me that sports fans have something negative to say about this?
I mean, believe it or not everyone was thrilled that Caleb Williams was on the Madden cover or was getting the Madden cover. But I mean, so here's some things. I kind of like summarize this for us. So there was a lot of things that clearly surfaced on social media and some sports talk shows. We won't call you out though. But it was just claims that he wasn't accomplished enough to earn the honor, which, again, I can kind of see that. But video game, it's not like you're retiring his number.
Yeah.
So I don't really, really understand that.
No, I agree 100% with that point.
The other one, which I do agree with this, comparisons to quarterbacks with stronger statistical resumes. You had already mentioned Matthew Stafford, and I thought that he was probably a good front runner for. I mean, he's the reigning MVP,
MVP.
so I can understand, like, if you're a Stafford fan, like, why isn't Stafford getting the cover over Caleb Williams? I can understand from that perspective. So this was an interesting one. The perception that the NFL and media have heavily promoted Caleb since college. Do you agree with this statement as he's been quote unquote heavily promoted?
No, no. I feel like his play has promoted him.
Yeah.
On the flip side, or quite the opposite, there was so much negativity coming towards this kid.
Absolutely.
And
Especially going into the draft.
Oh yeah, like
He was
they
a
should
diva.
Yeah, he paints his nails.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
cried. He cried for one of the losses for USC.
Yep.
These are all, by the way, these are all positives for us. And I get it's subjective, but we've talked about these in a very positive light. I think him crying showed a lot of strength that you're
Yeah.
able to do that. And he just, which one of us hasn't cried when our own team loses? Like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. And second, like, think about it. For a whole year, we had to hear Jaden Daniels was so much better. Jaden Daniels should have been the pick. Jaden Daniels, it's why did they pick up Caleb Williams? It's going to be the biggest mistake of all time.
Yeah. Big major bust. Yeah. And
So,
all great points. Absolutely. And I mean, the whole like crying in his mom, like, God forbid a man shows emotions with his mother.
Agreed.
Like, oh my gosh, that must be the most terrible thing in the world. Like, come on. I still don't understand that he still gets heat to this day
Yeah.
for that. And I mean, I can understand the backlash of, he may not be proven in the sense of, accomplished.
we're talking about merits, then I understand. But
Yeah.
you brought it up. This isn't the Hall of Fame. This isn't retiring his number. This is the cover of a video game. And if you're trying to show something exciting and you're trying to show that this video game's exciting, I don't think there's many players that you could choose before Caleb Williams. If you're going by accomplished, then sure.
Yeah.
But it's not always like that.
Yeah. I literally, of course, the backlash that bothers me the most is when you start attacking him personally.
Yeah.
And,
me too.
I was not actually familiar with this rapper, but this is something Boozy, the Louisiana rapper, basically took to Instagram and said some pretty harsh things. I won't repeat them, but essentially, because hit the deluxe edition cover, like, he's doing the Iceman or the bear pose, whatever you want to call it, shows his fingernails painted. And he basically said that Williams' nails set a poor example for young boys and claimed that such hands would keep a quarterback from earning the respect of his teammates.
I think the Bears are sold on him. They love Caleb.
Well, his point is that, like, this is the wrong message to be sending to young boys. So there's a twofold in this. First off, I want to say, if you believe that not one single person in the Chicago Bears locker room does not respect Caleb, you are 100% wrong. They are so behind Caleb. You can see it every game. You can see it on every, reaction, celebration. Caleb's earned their respect. And like any type of respect needs to be earned. And in the sports world, it doesn't matter what you wear, how you dress, what colored nails you have. It's your performance on the field that earns you respect. It's the person that you are off the field that earns you respect. And it's just incredibly sad because, like, it's fingernails. Who cares? Who cares? Like, literally.
Who
cares?
I don't understand this whole. Why does everyone need an opinion on how somebody else expresses himself?
I agree.
If you don't want to paint your nails, then don't paint your nails. If you don't want to do anything that Caleb does, don't do it. But why send all this hate to someone that you don't know and hasn't done anything bad? And we talked about this a little bit. We don't have to get too much into it, but there are actual players in the NFL that are doing some despicable things.
Mm-hmm.
Some being on my team that just happened recently. Why isn't this rapper sending more hate in that direction? Why aren't people sending hate in that direction? But someone paints their nails, God forbid he expresses himself with some color. Come on.
Yep. So this is another interesting question I have here. Do you think so? Kind of moving forward, or like the backlash, it is what it is. I wanted to express, and I know you felt the same way, that we completely disagree with, you know, it's sending the wrong message per se. From the, again, accomplishment aspect, I think we can both agree, like, yeah, there are probably other athletes that could have been on the cover, which leads me to my question. Do you think that if Caleb Williams played on a different franchise, that he would still be getting this same backlash? Because I'm thinking, what if, like, let's look at Sam Darnold. If Caleb played for the Seattle Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl, he probably wouldn't be getting this backlash.
No,
right?
Of course not.
But if Sam Darnold was on the cover, do you think he gets backlash?
This year, maybe not. But I think people would still have a lot to say, because the reality is, we know that Sam Darnold was better than he was in the first few years, but none of us think that he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback.
He's not, I mean, I think Seattle fans would be upset that it's Darnold and not JSN who was the offensive player of the year. So that's what I'm saying. So it's all, subjective, of course. And
I do think that if he was, there are some markets that probably would have torn him apart still. But I do think that if he was in a terrible team and somehow he still got the cover, then people would still have a lot of negativity to say.
Yeah, and that's another good point, because the question becomes, is it more about the player's success versus the team's success? And I think it's balanced.
Yes, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think if he did what he did last year, but you guys still lost, and he
like
got the cover.
Yeah, if we didn't make playoffs and he didn't have a tremendous playoff run, he probably doesn't. And that's honestly why I think Myles Garrett really wasn't selected to be
that's a fair point.
The cover athlete, because I mean, the guy's a beast. He absolutely has an argument to be, I think it's the first defensive player on Madden, on the Madden cover. But I mean,
I think JJ got it right. I could be wrong. I don't remember.
I don't know. But the Browns are not.
They're not.
so it's hard to
Browns.
so it's hard to
I agree 100%. That does make sense. And all the other players have already been in the cover. Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey. I guess you could have given it to one of the kids. You could have given it to, what's his name, Bijan Robinson. You could have given it to
But that's another thing, though, is, I mean, the Falcons haven't really done
That's
anything.
true. And the Lions didn't make the playoffs.
So that's why I think there's a balance that's team success and, the performance of the athlete itself, right? Like it's got to be a combination, because you can't just put great athletes on bad teams on the cover of Madden every year. And vice versa. You can't put just great system players. Like, to me, Sam Darnold, he was great this year. He took Seattle to the Super Bowl. They won, but he had a lot of help.
Oh, yeah. He's a system quarterback.
Whereas in certain games, it was all Caleb. Of course, they have to catch the ball or whatever. But the things that he did was just like, that would have never happened if Sam Darnold was back there.
I think so. The other argument would have been, like, because I know there's probably a lot of hate coming from Packers fans, but we got beat twice by you guys, and Caleb was integral in those 2 losses. So I feel like if those 2 games go the other way, then you could talk about putting Jordan Love on the cover. But it didn't go the other way. Caleb won. The Bears went further into the playoffs. Those things matter. What happened the year before into the new cover, they matter. And I think a lot of players or a lot of people aren't taking into consideration that success does matter to an extent, right?
Yeah.
You can't compare them to legends yet.
Yep.
But some of those legends didn't make the playoffs. Some of those legends maybe don't want to be on the cover, or they've been on the cover. So there's so many factors and so many variables that we don't know what their decision making was like, but I'm okay with it. I have no issue with him being on the cover.
Yep, absolutely. So, I mean, with all, the attention Caleb Williams is getting, positive and negative, let's talk about the Madden Curse. um, so if you guys don't know what the Madden Curse is, it's basically a famous superstition suggesting that any NFL player featured on the cover of EA of Madden, okay, will experience some severe misfortune in the following season. So either a major injury, a sudden drop in production, some off-field controversy, whatever it may be. So there's this theory. And I mean, there's some pretty notable examples. So I'll give you some over the past several years. So Michael Vick was on the cover of Madden 04, and he fractured his fibula in the preseason and missed 11 games.
Woo.
Sean Alexander was on the cover of Madden 07, suffered a broken foot in week 3, missing 6 games and failing to rush for 1,000 yards.
Yep.
Peyton Hillis, Madden 12, injury, illness, and contract disputes leading to a massive decline in his production. And Christian McCaffrey, Madden 25, limited to just 4 games during his Achilles tendonitis and PCL sprain.
I have the full list that someone put on Reddit. I'm not going to go through all of it, but there are some notable players that are also on this. Barry Sanders, 2000, retired. You have Dante Goldpepper, 2002, got hurt, performance issues throughout the whole year. You had you said Sean Alexander. Vince Young, 2008, got hurt, also had a lot of performance issues. And then you had Brett Favre in 2009, performance issues, and then retired.
Yeah. So,
and then the list goes on, right?
Interesting. But it's okay, Bears fans. There are some outliers. I'm going to give you some positive news here, okay? Because there are some outliers. It has not been every single year. So we'll date back to Madden 13 with Calvin Johnson. He broke the NFL single season record that year. So good things can still happen. Tom Brady, Madden 18 and 22. I mean, so he went to the Super Bowl in 2018 and he won his 3rd NFL MVP. So there's some hope. And then as recent as Patrick Mahomes, Madden 20, he became the only player in modern era to appear on the cover and win the Super Bowl in the same season. So fear not.
I do have him on this.
Bears fans, there's still hope.
But just to take some of that hope away, Antonio Brown, 2019. And the quote right here is, everybody else has performance or hurt or broken foot or something like that. For 2019, it just says Antonio Brown. That's it. It's Antonio Brown 2019, Antonio Brown. So, the curse could get pretty damn bad.
There's still hope, Bears fans.
But not too much hope.
Yeah, so, I mean, had to talk about it, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that were like, haha, of course, Bears fans. I would think if Bears fans had the choice for Caleb to be on the Madden cover or not, thinking of the Madden Curse, I still think we vote for him to be on the cover. That's me personally.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's fun. I think he deserves it. I think that's like a dream come true, I'm sure, for most young athletes who
I was going to say young is probably
like who grew up playing the game to be the cover athlete. Like that's got to be very, very exciting.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm super happy for Caleb. I'm trying to see here. So, I mean, the last thing, we kind of talked about it earlier, but he is rated 90 overall in Madden.
That's high.
It is, but I mean, like you have like Josh Allen is rated 99 when he was on the cover. Mahomes 99. I mean, I know that's like the greatest, but when you think about it, right? Josh Allen's never won a Super Bowl.
That's fair.
So he's
like,
rated up there with some of the all-time greats. But I love Caleb Williams' reaction though, because I think he talked about this on Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce's podcast.
New Heights.
Yes, thank you. New Heights. And they told him about that, and he didn't know at the time, from my understanding. And they were like, "Yeah, you're 90 overall," and he's like, "90? It'll be 99 by the end of the season." I was like, I love it. I love the confidence.
I do look. He is fun to hear and talk, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
But he also said that he wasn't going to let his punter punt so many times the first year, and that motherfucker punted a lot. So sometimes it could be wrong, too.
I mean, we didn't have Ben Johnson then.
That's fair. That's fair.
We had, I'm pretty sure, a coach that was like half asleep most of the game.
Oh, the one that used to hang out with Matt LaFleur at basketball games?
Yeah.
I'm never going to get over that.
Yeah. I saw something where like all the coaches gather, but Ben Johnson wasn't there. People were like, he wasn't invited. And other people were like, yeah, that's because he's literally in the film room studying the shit out of all your other teams.
You know what Ben Johnson gives me the vibe of? Like that kind of like coldness, kind of like Bill Belichick. You know how like Bill Belichick, everyone's like, oh, he's to himself or he does whatever the fuck. Like football, it's always football, 100% football. Not anymore now. He's into like 20-year-olds. But before it was football. And I think that's what Ben Johnson is. Like, I need to focus 100% on football.
Yeah.
If it works, it works, man.
Yeah, he's definitely in love with the game. That's for sure. Alrighty, well, any final thoughts, JC, on Caleb Williams? I mean, we talked about it a lot. We promised we weren't going to be too long today, so.
We're okay right now. Yeah, I'm happy that there's some recognition in the NFC North right now. Don't get me wrong, the Packer in me is kind of sad that he got the cover, but the Madden Curse person in me that knows about that's like, bring back the curse. Yeah. Not too bad. I don't want to get hurt. I just want some performance issues. Maybe throw 4 picks a game, 3 picks a game. No getting hurt.
Don't bring back the curse. Yeah, I think it's very exciting, and you know, it just further signals that the NFL also believes that he's a rising star, if not already a big star in the NFL. So very, very exciting. And again, you know, puts the Chicago Bears back into the picture, which there's a lot to talk about there. Chicago Bears.
Well, you know, we're gonna have a
if you get my drift there.
We're gonna have an episode on that later on. It's gonna be a big one. And oh my god.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty, well,
I'll never let you live it down. We're calling.
No.
Yeah.
Don't put it out there.
That's the curse. The curse already kicked in. There we go.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm gonna end the show before other shit is said. So, deuces. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
End it. Hurry up.
I call him 9. 9 comes out.
Leadership has grown.
QB1, man.
Come on, man.
Best QB in the league right here,
So,
man.
John Money.
Now tell him stop trying me, though. You know what I'm saying?